Let me guess, you were raised to be safe, obedient, and employable. Now you work 9 to 6 just to cover rent, groceries, and student debt. Owning a home feels out of reach. That's not because you're lazy, it's how you were programmed by parents who were just trying to give you food, shelter, and a decent life. But rich families, they raise their kids on a whole different level. In wealthy circles, the child isn't just the next generation. They're a long-term investment vehicle, tracked, mentored, funded, trained, just like a high-potential startup. Today, we're going to decode how the wealthy raise their kids, not to inherit wealth, but to create and scale it. Stick around till the end, because you won't just learn how to build wealth yourself. You'll become the first to pass this mindset to your next generation. Chapter 1. Setup, Hope versus Strategy. Let's start with the setup. Middle-class families usually raise kids with hope. Just be happy, figure it out, do what you love. But rich families, they raise kids with strategy. There's no guesswork, no, we'll see how they turn out. There's a model, there's a process. There's a blueprint to build humans who run empires, not just inherit them. It all starts early, way earlier than most people think. The first 7 years, that's the foundation. The seed round. Chapter 2. Seed round. Install the operating system. In startup terms, this is the seed round, the earliest stage. From birth to age 7, the goal is to install the operating system. Why? Because this is foundational programming. Whatever enters now becomes the default for life. Here's what they focus on: language, identity. They expose kids to rich vocabulary, multiple languages, and powerful self-talk early on. Because the words you use shape how you see yourself. Exposure, aspirations. They take kids to museums, art galleries, startup offices, farms, factories. They show them what's possible. Values. Decision-making operating system. They don't just teach please and thank you. They embed values like resilience, risk tolerance, and reputation, the core software for life. This isn't about forcing success. It's about a clean install, before the world adds noise, confusion, and limiting beliefs. Once that foundation is set, it's time to test the system. Let's move to Series A. Chapter 3. Series A, build the prototype. From ages 8 to 14, rich parents help the child build their first prototype. What does that look like? Passion projects, tiny businesses, controlled failures, so they learn how to bounce back. Public speaking clubs, basic investing, and money psychology. This is real-world R&D right in the lab of life. And the goal isn't to pressure them, it's to cultivate signal. They're asking, is this kid a thinker, a leader, a builder? They're watching not for perfection, but for potential. Chapter 4. Series B, market fit. By the time they hit 15, the game changes. This is the Series B stage, testing for market fit. Now it's about real-world performance, internships in real businesses, international travel, maybe solo trips, mentors in industries they're curious about, shadowing family businesses or advisors, earning their own capital, even just a few $100s. Imagine if your teenage years were like that. Where would you be now? Here's what rich parents don't ask: what do you want to be when you grow up? They ask, what value are you already creating? Because now the identity becomes real. Now it's about turning talent into contribution. Chapter 5. Cap table, what do they own? Now let's talk about equity. In rich families, even kids have cap tables. That means small shares in family entities, revenue splits on what they help build or grow, performance-based vesting, and just like in startups, regular feedback during family board meetings. Nothing is gifted. Ownership is earned, like equity. That's how you raise someone who respects wealth, not wastes it. Chapter 6. Advisors, not parents. At a certain point, rich parents stop parenting in the traditional sense. They become strategic advisors. They guide, coach, offer perspective, but they don't control. Why? Because control kills founders, and they're not raising obedient employees, they're raising future CEOs. This shift from control to collaboration is one of the most powerful parenting moves you can make. Chapter 7. Data rooms track everything. Startups have data rooms, so do these families. Every move is tracked, what the child reads, their presentation decks, business pitches, investing decisions, emotional intelligence journals. These are real documents, not just school grades. Because no smart investor funds a startup without data, so why would they raise children blindly? Chapter 8. Exit strategy, legacy, or leadership. By age 25, these kids have 3 clear options. Operate the family business, build a new company within the family ecosystem, launch externally with full support and advisory backing. But here's the key. They don't just inherit money, they inherit a P&L of responsibility. They know what they stand for, they know what they're building, and most importantly, they know how to lead. Real-world example. Elon Musk's kids. Did you know that Elon Musk's children are already involved in building startups? He co-founded the school Ad Astra, later Synthesis, not just for his own kids, but for training first principles thinkers. He's spoken about exposing his kids to engineering problems early, encouraging them to tinker, break things, rebuild, question everything. It's not just parenting, it's startup incubation. Real-world example 2, the Rockefeller Playbook. John D. Rockefeller's descendants didn't just inherit money. The Rockefeller family established formal family offices, training programs, and financial literacy education for every generation. Children had responsibilities, budgets, and advisors by the time they were teenagers. They weren't raised as heirs, they were groomed as stewards of legacy, with strategy. Chapter 9. The Takeaway. Let's be honest, middle-class parenting often asks, are they happy? But elite parenting asks, are they prepared? Because happiness fades, but preparedness compounds. They're not raising consumers, they're building capital-efficient, purpose-driven humans who scale themselves, and then scale others. So if you want to build generational wealth, stop raising children like dependents. Raise them like startups, with vision, capital, mentors, systems, and outcomes. So here's the challenge. Will your kids be raised for comfort or for creation? For security or for scale?